The moment my sister's perfectly manicured finger pointed toward the restaurant exit, I felt my entire existence shrink to the size of that diamond ring catching the candlelight. Why don't you go find another spot, Maya? This is for real family. Her words sliced through the birthday celebration like a knife through cake, the cake I'd spent 3 hours baking that morning because I knew chocolate ganache was Mom's favorite. 23 years of sisterhood evaporated in that single sentence, and suddenly, I wasn't Maya Rodriguez anymore. I was just the adopted kid who never quite belonged. I had driven 4 hours from my tiny apartment in Portland to make it to Mom's 60th birthday dinner at Marcello's, the upscale Italian restaurant where we'd celebrated every major milestone since I was 7. My beat-up Honda had barely made it up the mountain pass, its check engine light blinking like a warning I should have heeded. But family was family, right? Or so I thought. The evening had started beautifully. Mom had tears in her eyes when she opened my gift, a handmade photo album chronicling 60 years of her life, assembled from pictures I'd painstakingly collected and restored over 6 months. My sister Jennifer had given her a gift card to a spa. A gift card she'd probably grabbed at the grocery store checkout. But everything changed when the bill arrived. Jennifer snatched it up with theatrical flair, her eyes widening as she scanned the total. $3,120, she announced, her voice carrying across our private dining room. Well, Maya, since you're always going on about equality and fairness, I think it's only right that you cover this. You know, as a thank you for Mom and Dad taking you in all those years ago. The room went silent. Even the soft Italian music seemed to pause. My brother-in-law Mark suddenly found his phone fascinating. Dad was studying his wine glass like it held the secrets of the universe. And Mom just looked away. Jennifer, that's not, I started, my voice barely a whisper. Not what? She interrupted, standing now, her designer dress probably worth more than my monthly rent. Not fair. You've been living rent-free in their hearts for over 2 decades, Maya. The least you can do is show some gratitude. Besides, this dinner was your idea. It wasn't my idea. Jennifer had organized everything, invited her country club friends, ordered the most expensive wines. I had suggested a small family barbecue at home. But pointing that out now would only make me look petty, defensive, more proof that I didn't belong. My hands trembled as I reached for my purse, doing the mental math that would drain my savings account down to $37. The savings I'd been building to finally go back to nursing school. The dream I'd put on hold when Dad had his heart attack last year and I'd driven down every weekend to help with his recovery while Jennifer was too busy with her yoga retreats. I'll get it, I said quietly, pulling out my credit card, the one I'd promised myself I'd pay off this year. That's when Jennifer delivered her final blow. Maybe next time you should sit at a different table. You know, somewhere more appropriate for your situation. This is really a celebration for blood relatives. I looked at Mom then, really looked at her, hoping, no, praying, she would say something. Anything. Tell Jennifer she was out of line. Remind everyone that I was her daughter too. But Mom just dabbed at her eyes with her napkin, and I realized those tears weren't from joy over my photo album. They were from discomfort. She was embarrassed. Of me. For me. I couldn't tell which was worse. The waiter appeared like a phantom, and I handed him my card with as much dignity as I could gather. My hand barely shook. I'd learned early in life how to hide pain. Adopted kids become experts at making themselves small, at not causing trouble, at being grateful for the bare minimum. Declined, the waiter whispered apologetically, returning 2 minutes later. Jennifer's laugh could have shattered crystal. Of course it is. Well, this is awkward. I tried my debit card. Also declined. My savings account had a hold on it from an error at the bank, something I'd planned to resolve on Monday. My face burned with humiliation as Jennifer's friends whispered behind their hands. I'll call my bank, I said, standing abruptly. I just need a moment. I didn't call my bank. I walked outside into the cool October evening and called the only person I knew might help. My roommate's boyfriend, who I barely knew but who had once mentioned he believed in karma and helping people in need. He didn't answer. I sat on the curb, designer restaurant at my back, my family's rejection wrapping around me like fog. My phone rang. Unknown number. Is this Maya Rodriguez? A woman's voice asked. Yes. This is Catherine Chen from First National Bank. We've been trying to reach you about an error that affected your account. We've corrected it and added a $500 credit for the inconvenience. Your account is now fully accessible. I could have cried from relief. I went back inside, paid the bill, and left without saying goodbye. The drive home was a blur of tears and streetlights. I had just passed Salem when my phone rang again. Dad. Maya, honey, I need to tell you something I should have said 23 years ago. His voice cracked, and I pulled over, my heart hammering. The day we adopted you, the agency told us your birth mother was a teenager who wanted you to have a better life. What they didn't tell us, what we learned years later, was that she was your mother's niece. Jennifer's cousin. She died in a car accident 6 months after you were born. The world tilted. You're not just adopted, Maya. You're blood. You always were. Your mother couldn't bear to tell anyone because of the scandal, the family shame. Jennifer doesn't know. She thinks we chose a random baby over having a third biological child. She's resented you your whole life for a lie. I pulled back onto the highway, but everything looked different now. The hurt was still there, but something else was emerging, a strange kind of freedom. Why are you telling me this now? I asked. Because after watching you pull out that credit card tonight without a word of complaint, after watching you take her cruelty with grace, I realized you're more family than any of us deserve. I'm sorry, Maya. I'm so damn sorry. 2 weeks later, I got a letter from an attorney. My birth mother, my cousin, had established a trust fund before she died, held until I turned 25 or graduated from college, whichever came first. I turned 25 last month. The trust was worth enough to pay for medical school twice over. I never told Jennifer about the money or the truth about my birth. She calls sometimes now, asking for loans, complaining about her husband's failing business. I don't answer. Not out of spite, but because I finally learned what family really means. It's not about blood or obligation. It's about who shows up, who stays, who loves you even when it costs them something. I'm in nursing school now. And every day, I meet people who need someone to show up for them. So I do. Because that's what someone once did for me, even if it took 25 years to fully understand. The bill that night was $3,120. The lesson was priceless.